Hello, everybody. It's me, Geoff Keighley. Hope you're doing well. This is the Game Awards post-show discussion. I am still in the whirlwind of the aftermath of the Game Awards 2021 last night. Hopefully, you guys had a chance to watch it. And honestly, I just wanted to stop by and take some questions, get some feedback from you guys. And please, we want the positive stuff. We want the negative stuff. We want your ideas. I actually feed off of like constructive criticism and ideas. But yeah, I'm curious, like, what your favorite reveal was. What do you think of the award winners? What do you think of the show? So if you're interested in being a part of the space, just request access, and I'm just going to try and bring people up and just start talking about all things Game Awards. So yeah, let me just start bringing some people up to the stage here and see what people got to say. Let's bring Games Cage Hype Guy to the stage. How you doing, man?
Hello?
Hey, what's
How
up?
are you, Jeff? What's up?
Oh, I'm a little tired, but we did it. The show
I'm
happened.
proud.
What'd you
I'm
think?
proud of you. I'm proud of you. You guys did good. You did awesome this year.
Well, thank you, man. I'm sure there's good things, bad things, as always. There's stuff we can improve on,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
thank you so much for the feedback. So, what was your favorite part of the
I
night?
mean, of course, I was losing it for the Sonic stuff. All the Sonic stuff,
Yeah.
just that destroyed my vocal cords, destroyed everything. That was the best, and I'm glad. Thank you for spacing the two out because if I had the movie trailer and then the game trailer, I just would have passed out probably.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out how to blend those two together, and the movie trailer's so
It's
good.
so good.
Yeah, I had such debates about should we do it or not. And when I saw it, I'm like, it's so good, and like it's fun. And Jeff Fowler, the director of Sonic's a friend of mine, and we tried to do something on the first Sonic movie that didn't happen. So I was like, okay, let's do it. And Paramount really wanted to debut, a movie
Mhm.
trailer for the first time at the Game Awards, which was dope. So yeah, it was so well done. So I was happy about that. And yeah, Frontiers is was good. There was lots of back and forth about how much of that game we could show. It was obviously
Right.
pretty early, but it's cool to see the game environment and
Yeah, for
get a
sure.
sense of hopefully what the gameplay is going to look like. So that's good. Well, I'm glad you like those. Is there anything that you think we should improve or change with the show?
Yeah, so like I would say like again, I actually like this time I really love the performances. I really love the things. I'd say like I'd say maybe like that the last hour went
Huh?
on maybe a bit too long. Like that's sort of when it felt like
Yep.
things were sort of it's like it's always like when a show ends up being because with the pre-show it's like 3.5 hours. I feel like there's some
Yeah.
stuff that could be like cut off or maybe like maybe not necessarily cut off but maybe shorter length or stuff like that, but really aside from that it really is getting better each year. Like I think the performances,
Oh,
I
thank
think
you.
like spacing of announcements, I think like having the speeches and all that stuff, I think things are getting better, and I was so happy for Joseph Ferris for winning that shit.
I
Like
know.
he him popping up was just incredible. I love that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm thrilled he could make it from Sweden, and yeah, for that game to win Game of the Year was awesome. And as a show producer, you always want sort of surprises and interesting twists to kind of the different categories and games and everything. So that was,
Mhm.
yeah, it was really really interesting how that all played out. And I think your comments are right about the length of the show. I mean, part of what we face is that there's so many people that want to be a part of Game Awards, and we still have to
Yeah.
turn down so many people. And it's like, it's how do we do it in a right way? But as you said, there's an art to sort of the length of things, and we
Mhm.
had so many things to do, and we had so many awards to do. So yeah, we sort of struggle with kind of how to pack that all into
Yeah.
a show. And it's the internet, so people online
Yeah.
sometimes would want to watch 8 hours of stuff if we had it. But yeah, it definitely, I agree,
Sure.
it was a little long. I wish it would have been probably maybe about a half hour shorter with the length of it, but just so many things kind of came in. And
Mhm.
yeah, it's a constant battle about the length of the show and how do you
Yeah.
balance the awards versus the premieres and all that. And we never get it quite right. And even this year was a bit weird because there were good games, but it was a little bit lighter in
Yeah.
terms of the
No,
release
I
schedule. So we had more stuff for preview for next year. But yeah, great
Mhm.
comments across the board.
Yeah.
Really appreciate them, and thanks for where are you calling in from?
I'm in Montreal, Canada. So like when
Montreal,
there was a lot
Canada.
of Canadian reps, I was very happy.
I know. I tweeted out. It was like a lot of Canadian presenters, and then yeah, we tend to have a lot of awesome Canadian game developers represented in the show, which is great because I'm Canadian, but also
Absolutely.
just
And
fun. So
I have to promise myself one day I will be up there presenting something. Okay, I promise. I
I hope
got
so. Are
this.
you a game developer?
I'm not a game developer, but I'm a content creator. But I will present something for you.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to that. Hopefully, it'll happen.
Well,
All right, thanks.
absolutely, we'll make it happen. All right, Geoff, have a good one. Peace out.
Thanks, Games Cage. Great to see you. Let's bring some more people up to the stage. Let's bring up Blaze. Hello, Blaze. Sometimes you have to unmute if we bring you up to the stage. That's what happens sometimes. Blaze, you there?
Yo,
What's up,
what's up, Geoff
Blaze?
Keighley?
Hey, I'm just resting, recovering.
Yeah,
But Rishi from Twitter's like, you gotta do a Twitter Spaces the day after for the post show discussion. So I'm like, all right, Rishi, here I am.
yeah.
So what do you think of the show?
It was pretty cool. Like, I love all the Sonic stuff.
Oh yeah, you big Sonic. Yeah. So did you like the movie or the game better?
I mean, it's hard to say, but
Cool.
I guess both. I'm just gonna say both. Both of them were good.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I really wanted when we did movie stuff. I always wanted to have it kind of tied to something game related as well, and the Sonic stuff was really cool because the game was ready to show, and the movie trailer was just I thought was really fun. So it was great to get kind of Ben and Jim and all that coming together. So that was a cool thing. I'm glad you guys like that because I was like, well,
Yeah,
we're the Game Awards. So some people on my feed are always like, it's the Game Awards, not the movie awards. And it's how do we blend that in the right way. So I'm glad to hear you like that.
yeah.
Did you have a question?
I don't exactly know, but
Oh, it's
when you
no.
starting the Game Awards, do you think it was gonna be really this big? Like, how big it got?
No, I mean, we don't really think a lot about the bigness of it. It's just sort of like, can we do a great show for the industry and for fans? I was just lucky to do it the first year and honestly have enough money to like make a show. And now, yeah, sorry, I'm yawning because I'm tired. Yeah, it's I don't think we ever predicted where it was going to go, and I don't know where it's going to go in the future, right? And like COVID last year, we were just excited we even got to do a show.
Yeah,
This year, we got to be in person. Was really cool and meaningful for
yeah,
me to actually like see people in person. So that's the stuff that really matters the most to us, and I hope the audience will grow or shrink, and like that'll all kind of change year over year. But it's just so nice that people embrace it, and all the game companies are part of the show. So yeah, I'm really so honored to be able to do it. So
yeah.
thanks for watching.
All right, yeah, no problem.
All right. Take care, man.
All right, bye.
Great to chat with you. If you guys want to come up on the stage, chat about all things Game Awards, request, and we'll chat around in the spaces here. I do have some room service coming in a few minutes, by the way. I need some lunch, so when that arrives, um, maybe we'll have lunch together. All right. Let's go to let's add in Trevor. Hello, Trevor. I can hear you loud and clear. Where are you calling in
Oh,
from,
I'm
Trevor?
calling in from Indiana University right now in Bloomington, Indiana.
Okay, nice. Did you watch the Game Awards last
I
night?
did. The show was awesome, man.
Oh well, thanks. That's nice to hear. What was your favorite part?
I absolutely loved the Star Wars Eclipse reveal. An open world Star Wars is probably for me and a billion other fans like our biggest dream. So I'm excited to see what comes of that game.
Yeah, me too. I saw that trailer a while back and was pretty blown away by just you know just the it felt so fresh for Star Wars, even right? Because I
Yeah,
feel like Star Wars is a property like the movies. They feels like they keep kind of trying to figure out what are they doing with movies. And Mandalorian's been amazing, and they've done a great job with that. But I think just something fresh and exciting in the Star Wars universe. When I saw that trailer, it's so powerful. I mean, I don't know what that game is really going to be, or especially the fact that Quantic Dream's developing it. Kind of like what's the experience going to be? I have so many questions. I think everyone does, but just as you said, as an excitement piece. It's a really, a beautiful asset and really, grabbed my attention. So I was happy to include it in the show. So yeah, that's a good note. Anything else that stood out to you as positive or negative in the show?
I really just loved also at the beginning, like you bringing up the issues going on in the industry right now. I think that was a very powerful statement that you gave to many industry heads that were in attendance. And I think that was just awesome that you brought that to light.
Thank you. I mean, I was really debating about what to do there, and it was kind of unfortunate last week because I didn't. I really wanted to kind of say what I was going to say for the show, and then it's sort of there was an article where I just said, "Hey, I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing," and unfortunately, kind of a tabloid site sort of took that and said, "Oh, it's like he doesn't have a stance on these things." And I tend to try and wait for the show to kind of have those moments where I kind of talk about things. And I was really, struggling sort of with what to say and how to say it. And I know some people online wanted me to like call out Activision specifically or call it a specific company. And honestly, sadly, I think there are a lot of companies that struggle with these issues. And I'm mindful of the universal nature of our show and how all game companies are part of it, and I think everyone is accountable to some degree. So that's why I didn't want to pin it on one company, or even today I think there was a story about another company, and it feels like there's just unfortunately this is a larger societal issue and industry issue really, more than anything that we sort of have to face and deal with. So I thought it was important to address it because everyone's talking about it, so I didn't want to ignore it, but also I wanted to be conscious of this. Our show, we get once a year to talk about these things at the Game Awards or have these shows, and who knows what's going to happen next week or a month from now. So I was figuring out what's a statement that we could make that hopefully resonates with people and with fans watching, and that's the other thing. I think it's like the media and a show like mine has a degree of influence over people to some degree, but also no one is more powerful than the fans and the players of games who can decide with what you play and what you don't play and things like that. So that's the other important thing I think is that nothing hurts these companies more than fans that don't buy their games or don't play their games. And I think that's kind of an important thing to keep in mind, that the consumer ultimately is the real stakeholder in all of this that really has more power than anyone else. So yeah, I appreciate you mentioning it. We were debating sort of where do we do it? Well, what do I say? Did you have curious, what did you think of the winners last night?
I think it was awesome. I really popped off when Metroid Dread won Best Action Adventure Game, but I was also really happy to see It Takes Two take Game of the Year. Me personally, I would have loved Metroid Dread, but I think It Takes Two was an incredible winner for Game of the Year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was it was so fun to see Joseph be the winner of that, which I was kind of not. I didn't know what was going to happen with Game of the Year, right? It was sort of like a big debate amongst all of us about sort of what's going to happen and what's going to win. But do you think It Takes Two was a worthy winner?
I think so, yeah. It was a really competitive year, honestly, this year. And I think it was worthy of winning.
All right. And did you have any suggestions for improvement in the show?
No, I'm not.
Was it
I don't
too
think
long?
so.
Was it boring? Was there a certain game you didn't think deserved to be there?
I think all the reveals and the award stuff, it was good pacing, and I really liked the reveals and stuff. I hope we'll get even bigger reveals next year.
What would be the dream reveal for you?
Something from Nintendo, honestly. I'll be straight up. Usually Nintendo has a lack of presence at the Game Awards. I think this year we only had the Monster Hunter DLC revealed because that's exclusive to the Switch. So honestly, hopefully seeing a reveal from Nintendo, obviously not as exciting as Sephiroth in 2020, but
yeah,
maybe something from Nintendo, honestly.
Yeah, it was definitely a light year from Nintendo. We've had some great stuff over the years with, certainly the first show with Breath of the Wild, Bayonetta, I think in 2017. But yeah, Nintendo kind of has, it feels like on or off years in terms of kind of stuff that we do. And they're always a presence, and it's great to see them be part of the show and Doug Bowser and everyone there. But yeah, it definitely was a little bit lighter here for Nintendo content. So believe me, we asked, and I'm sure hopefully they'll be, they have a big year next year with a lot of stuff coming. So yes, I agree with you. That's fair feedback. All right. Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for listening, Geoff.
Hell yeah. I love all these comments, and I got my lunch, so I'm going to eat a little bit. Hopefully that's not rude. Let's see. All right, next person we're going to bring up is let's see. Let's bring up Sosa Glee. I don't know. Sosagly. How you doing, man?
Yo, what's good?
How do I pronounce your name?
It's like Sosagly.
Sosagly. Oh, that's a dope name. Is that your real name?
Nah, man, it's just a combination, just like in Chief Keef.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope. All right. Well, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from the United Kingdom. I'm calling from London.
London. Okay. Did you stay up all night watching the Game Awards?
Yeah. Well, my sleeping pattern is kind of a bit weird. So like, I woke up just 30 minutes before like the pre-show and all that stuff. So
Okay.
It was pretty nice. It was pretty nice for sure. So I definitely had the energy to stay up and like, pay attention to all of the nominations and the reveals. I'll say, you know what? I'll say I wasn't paying that much attention to the pre-show and whatnot, but I'll say when the actual show started happening, I felt like obviously it was pretty respectful for you to like start with the whole awareness in regards to like harassment, like workplaces and whatnot. It's good you definitely brought it up, and I do feel like it needs to be a bit of a bigger dialogue. But I'd say the show as a whole, it was pretty entertaining. It was pretty engaging. There was some very nice reveals, and I feel like the nominations and the outcome for it, I think it was pretty good. I think pretty satiated for sure.
What was your favorite reveal?
Um, I'll say what was so surreal was watching Hellblade, because when you were talking about you couldn't believe that it was gameplay, whatever. Right? When I was watching, I was like, is this shit a cutscene? And I'm just watching this shit. I'm just like,
I know.
bro. I'm like, what the? My life, what the fuck?
Nice same reaction when I saw
Bro,
it, because I'm just like, is it really gameplay?
bro.
And
I
they're like,
was
yeah, it
like,
is, and yeah, it looks wild. Yeah,
I
that
didn't even
team
know
is, I
that's
mean,
Unreal Engine
incredible.
5 or something. I don't know what engine they're using, but it was just like,
Yeah,
it
it's
looked
definitely
like a
Unreal. I don't
movie.
know which version it is, but yeah, it's definitely. I think they said they're going to be on UE5, but yeah,
Mm,
it's. I mean,
like,
that was opening
mm,
with that and closing with Matrix. I mean, good night for Unreal, but yeah, just really
mm.
cool stuff. Have you tried the Matrix thing yet?
Nah, I mean, I think this was just like after, because obviously I stayed up all night watching like two streams, your stream and the Kanye West and Drake thing. And I think after people talk about the Matrix thing and how the Unreal Engine 5 looks like, it looks like reality, like it looks fucking crazy or some
Yeah.
shit. So I definitely got to download that shit on the PS5 and whatnot. But I'll say what is crazy, I'd say like when you said, after you were talking about the whole harassment thing, I think like the people that make these games, they definitely shape the industry to what it is today, and that's how things like as games evolve and whatnot, and as consumers, I feel like we're getting a bit too spoiled, but I feel like at the same time, the interactive experience between playing a game and like that immersion. I don't know where entertainment is gonna go next, but it's like I'm anticipating it for sure, and I'm sure it's gonna be a mad one for sure.
Awesome. I agree. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for staying up, and that was a wild night. Game Awards into the Kanye Drake show, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I still ain't even
How
slept
was
yet.
that? I saw they streamed it. I saw that it
Oh
was like a big
yeah,
mound they had in the middle of the stadium.
bruh. I'd say this shit. It was kind of. I thought they would just play a couple of songs, but literally Kanye West just played his entire, like most of his catalog, from his
Wow.
debut album onwards to his recent output, and it was just him
Wow.
playing classics, and it was just Drake playing like some new shit. Like it was kind of like Verses, where obviously have you heard of Verses?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah,
Versus amazing.
it
Yeah.
it kind it
Yeah.
kind of looked like it was kind of like a Versus, but then Kanye West was just like playing his old shit, whereas like Drake was playing his new shit, and like people weren't really like fucking the fact that Drake played none of his classics. But
Yeah, that's what I
no,
saw on Twitter. People were like, Kanye really brought it, and Drake was sort of like didn't bring the game in terms of like Kanye going. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
yeah,
So that's
but
cool.
the two legends, I feel like they've definitely pioneered the landscape for sure. So yeah,
They were here
no.
in LA. I was like, you guys should come present an award, but it didn't happen. So all right, well, thanks, man. Great to
But
chat.
shout out to Joseph Ayres, man. That was a beautiful circular moment where obviously 3 years ago he was like, fuck the Oscars, and he actually won an award for this game, which he
Yep.
deserved. He deserved it 100%. But thank you for bringing me up here, man.
Yeah, I love Joseph. All right, thanks, man. Great to chat.
Yes, thanks.
Let's see. Let's bring up RGT 85. How you doing? RGT, I think he did a video or a YouTube video reviewing the show. I haven't watched it, but I think I saw it in my feed, so I'm gonna have to go watch that. I want to watch it. I want the real feedback.
I mean,
So give it to me straight. What do I need to
all right.
fix?
Now, first off, I will say I didn't like what you were talking about with the previous guy and like the tabloid article. I didn't like how they ran with that and tried to smear you over that. I thought that was ridiculous because of the fact that that website, which we won't name names, but when an Activision game or a Blizzard game or a game within that ecosystem drops, they're going to review it. and they might give it a bad score, but they're still going to work with them. So I hated that. Now, as far as the Game Awards goes, I liked some of the things. The Hellblade 2 thing, that was good. I like that. I definitely thought Hellblade 2 was going to be there. I liked the Sonic stuff. I liked the movie trailer. And usually not a huge fan of movie trailers, but I don't know. I guess like the main thing is like, it's a very long show. And I get it. It's a show. You got to do the advertisements and stuff like that. But it just, I don't know. And obviously Sting, I'm not the biggest Sting fan in the world, but I get it. I get it. I get why he was there. At least it was at the front. It was nice and front loaded. But I don't know.
Everything it was a pretty beautiful song, I thought, right?
Yes, I mean it wasn't no Walking on the Moon or messing with
Have you watched Arcane?
No, I don't really watch like network TV stuff.
Well, yeah, if you watch Arcane, it's a pretty anyone's watched Arcane. It's a pretty pivotal kind of finale song, but totally get you. I mean, look, that's the thing is some people will like Imagine Dragons, some people won't. I mean, what we find is that music stuff is very polarizing, and the orchestra is what people tend to really love and universally sort of like think is good. So yeah, I mean, like in a show, as you said, of that length, there are always going to be things that appeal to you and don't appeal to others, and it's a balance for me as a producer of how do you create something that hopefully appeases everyone but doesn't alienate anyone. And I agree the show is long. It's like I wish it was a little bit shorter. It's the thing that I think struggle with a little bit is like so many game companies have stuff they want to be part of the show. And we hate saying no to people, even though we do have to say no to lots of people. So we just try and sort of balance it out and come up with something that works for everyone. But I agree with you. It's there was a lot to the show this year.
And I think one of the things that kind of bothers me, and I think it bothers a lot of people, is like, there was a segment of the show where it was like, it was almost back to back, or at least within like a half hour of each other, where it was like, 4 or 5 awards just get dropped back to back to back. And then it's like, here's something else. It's kind of like, well, I don't know. I think people would like to hear more from and I understand, obviously, a lot of people when they get up on stage, these people are working behind the scenes. They're not used to the bright lights. So they might, it's not like the Oscars or something where those people are, in front of the camera all the time. So maybe they don't have something to say, but I definitely think a lot of people would like to hear more from the award winners, more so than some of the other stuff that's thrown in there.
Yeah, look, that's a constant criticism and a constant battle we face. When I remember a couple years ago on Twitter, I did a poll where I said, like, what do you want to see more? It's like awards or world premieres. And I think it was like 80-something% of the audience said it's all about the world premieres, and that's why they tune in. So the awards are a key piece of the show. It's obviously the brand of the show. And we spend, probably half the show going through awards, but we have 30 categories and we just can't, I mean, we could, but it's just I don't think that we can really do back-to-back awards, presenting to all those developers. There's also the issue, I think, this year especially of, how many people can attend and be a part of it. I was really actually happy with how many people were able to be there in person, and having people fly in from Europe and Sweden and France and places like that to be a part of the show. And I agree that me listing off some categories and announcing the winner, we've always figured out like what's the best way to do that. I mean, other award shows like the Grammys or something like that, they don't even mention some of the categories in the show and say, hey, go to the website and see the others. So it's like we try and figure out a way to mention it. I wish we could do more awards, but it comes at the expense of premieres and other things. And you're right that what's the right balance? Should we had 2 more awards and 3 less world premieres? Maybe. It's just there's a lot of stuff that goes into that, but I think it's fair criticism, and it's always going to be this tension that exists with this show, of how do we sort of balance that out. So yeah, I mean I don't disagree with you. So what would you do? Like if you were the producer, what would you change? You have more awards and less premieres?
That's tough because obviously that's a large undertaking. But
you're in charge. What are you going to do?
I would try to balance it. Maybe just a suggestion, move some of the Hollywood stuff to the side and give the developers and the producers and the people behind the scenes of the actual games more so than like, the actors presenting stuff or talking about stuff to the side. Once again, I understand the business aspect of it, but still, make it a little more, because really my whole philosophy is the music industry, Hollywood, they're not as big as the video game industry when it comes to revenue in any way, shape, or form. They need us more than we need them. So
Yeah.
I would like to see a little more focus on the actual gaming side of things, more so than the Hollywood stuff. Like I said, I understand the money involved,
No, no.
and
But
you know,
the thing is, people are like, "Oh, why did you pay these people to show up?" And it's like, we don't pay anyone. They come because they actually want to
right.
be a part of the show, because they're actually, interested in games and curious about it, want to be part of the industry. And what I always look at it as, we're not giving awards to Hollywood people. What we're doing is having these Hollywood people come in to present awards to game developers, to honor them. And, a lot of people, like, last year when Christopher Nolan presented Game of the Year, like, that was pretty cool for people at Naughty Dog that he presented the award to them, right? And it could have been Todd Howard, it could have been Reggie, and we always, we balance that. I mean, this year Neil Druckmann presented Game of the Year, right? And we had
Right.
Dylan Mustard present Game Direction, and Reggie, and like we try and balance it so it's not like all Hollywood names, but Simu Liu is like a big gamer, and he was super excited to do the show, and we're like, awesome, let's bring him in and have him be a part of it. So it's always a debate about how to involve those guys in it. I just always make the distinction that we're not giving a inspiration award to Keanu Reeves or something, right? I mean, they're there, but like Keanu was there because he's starring in The Matrix Awakens.
Well, Keanu's a real one. He gets a pass.
Okay. But that's what it's like. It's always it's a balance for us on how to make it all work, and I think we try and always have people that are related to games. And I can't tell you how many celebrities we get pitched, big names that just don't have a relevant gaming link. Same thing on the music side, honestly, right? I mean, there are lots of bands that get pitched, and we're like, well, because you're on the FIFA soundtrack is not enough to sort of be performing on the show. And that's why, like, the Imagine Dragons thing, we were really happy that came together with the Supergiant guys and kind of a cool collaboration. So yeah, it's again something we think about often. Some of the talent, it's not needed for the show, but I think it adds kind of a fun element to the show, and I don't think it distracts. If your point is that we should have more game developers presenting awards to game developers, my answer to that is like, yes, we do have, we do that a fair amount. Like I said, with Neil presenting Game of the Year and things like that. And it's sort of,
Right.
it just depends on the year. And honestly, I will tell you, it's kind of hard sometimes to book game developers to do that stuff, because they're also, especially this year, they have to travel in, and sometimes in Hollywood, LA, there are lots of people available that are easier to get them sometimes, and getting someone to fly in from around the world to present. So like, would I have loved to have Kojima present, an award? It's like, yeah, but he's in Japan and it's hard to do. So, yeah, I think that's like a fair comment, and is always going to be sort of part of, this show. And I think there are other people that come down the other side of, like you said, like, oh, Keanu was super cool to have there. So I don't think we need a ton of celebrity in the show. It doesn't really drive ratings for us at all. But it's nice to sort of sprinkle in. But I think it's a fair point to say, focus on the games and the developers. And I would say across the show, we had lots of developers on stage accepting awards and presenting their games and premiering them and stuff like that. So there's an element there that I think we need to always think about, but it is like top of mind. And we try and strike the right balance. Who did you think was the most odd, like, the Hollywood stuff? What did you think was the most odd thing that like didn't work for you?
I don't know a lot of Hollywood names, but the gentleman with the Halo phone gag, it was like, okay, please stop.
Oh yeah, Simu Liu. That's the Shang-Chi guy. Yep.
Yeah, like he seems like a cool dude, but it's like, all right. Tell me about the award. I get it. Halo's hot. You're watching it on Twitch, but you're not really.
No,
but,
I agree.
Little things like that.
That was his idea. Like he's actually a legit Halo fan, and that was his concept. He wanted to talk about Twitch and all that. So we're like, cool, if this is what you want to do. But yeah, Simu's he's a cool guy, but I totally get what you're saying, and that's the thing with music and talent. It's everyone will have sort of a different opinion of sort of what's relevant and what's not.
Yeah, it's subjective.
Exactly, but Keanu was good for you. Keanu's universally accepted, right?
But yeah, man, Keanu's an OG. I mean, come on. Bill and Ted.
My Canadian brother. All right, well, thanks for chatting, man. I'm going to watch your video soon.
All right, brother.
All right, RGT85. Thanks for joining the space. Let's see who else we can go and chat with here. This is, if you're just joining us, I'm chatting about the Game Awards. Geoff Keighley. afternoon after the show. Getting some feedback from everybody on what you guys liked and didn't like around the show. So feel free to drop a request, and I will figure it out. Let's go to Cresty. Hello, Cresty. But bring it up to the stage. You might have to unmute your mic. That's something you often have to do in Spaces.
Hello?
You there?
Can you hear me?
Hello. What's up, Cresty?
Hi, Geoff Keighley. That was unexpected.
I just picking names, seeing where are you calling in from, Cresty?
I'm from Iceland.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, you guys just had the Valorant tournaments up there, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That was a pretty surprising thing that happened. Like that never happens.
I know, that's why it's like random and cool. But did you go to any of that stuff?
No, I don't think there were any guests allowed. It was mostly just like a live stream thing.
Right, that's cool. But did you watch Game Awards last night?
I did half of it, but I fell asleep because of because it just
late,
started at about like 1 a.m. So that was
Oh my god, yeah, that's like it's always tough for us because and I feel bad for Europe because when we do like Summer Game Fest, we do a little bit earlier in the day and it works, but we have to find a time that works around the world, and it's really hard because if we do 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. LA time, it works well for Europe, but it's tough for Asia, and we have a lot of people that watch in China and other markets. So Game Awards tends to be a little bit later in the day.
yeah,
whereas,
I totally get that.
Gamescom works earlier in the day, Summer Game Fest. So yeah, it's totally get. And I feel bad that people have to stay up late in Europe, and I know it's not. Some people say, "Why do you do it on a Thursday? Why can't you do it on a weekend?" There's sort of like all these other debates. There's no perfect answer. So maybe one year we will try it on a weekend or try a different time. But yeah, no, it's certainly good, fair feedback.
Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, I'm not running an award show, so I can't really, complain really.
Well, but your opinion matters. What did you think of the show overall?
I think that I like the beginning part. I can't say much about the second half because, well, like I mentioned.
So out of the first half, what did you like the most?
Well, of course, like people have mentioned, your speech about like about the gaming industry and like treating employees well.
Mm-hmm.
That was I really like that speech. Like it's a thing I think a lot of people like about you, Geoff, included me, is that you just feel so down to earth. Like this space really proves that as well.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was really debating what to say and how to say it. And look, I read all the threads and Twitter and all that. Like I'm reading everyone's comments, so I'm seeing what people are saying. And some people were like, I want you to call it Activision like you called out Konami about Kojima. And it's just such a different set of circumstances. Whereas, specifically like Hideo, was not there to pick up his award, so people were wondering why. And this year it wasn't like we had, Call of Duty won an award or anything like that, right? It was just a different scenario. And I do think these issues, sadly, are more than just one company. And I never want to use the platform I have to sort of just, put one company on notice, because then what happens, today there was like, oh, there's a story about Bungie, and there's, it's like, there's just all these other things that sort of happen out there. And I want to make sure I feel like our role with the show is really to talk about an issue, make everyone conscious about it and think about it, but not be particularly prescriptive about exactly here's the list of bad guys or here's the way to solve it. It's a very complicated issue, but it's really important. So I thought it was important to mention something in the show and make sure everyone is mindful of it. And I'm conscious of the platform we have in the audience that we should address it. So I don't know, maybe we didn't go far enough. Maybe we shouldn't have mentioned it. I really felt strongly that we should do something. It was a debate. What did we do at that beginning of the show? What could I say? And I didn't know if any of the acceptances or the winners might mention it, which I don't think they did, but that was something that I was also sort of conscious of and thinking about too.
Yeah, I think you handled it pretty well, honestly. So props to that.
It's definitely something I was a little worried about, but I'm glad it worked out. Did you have a favorite reveal from the show?
Well, I mean, there was a lot I liked, but there wasn't something in particular that I was like super excited for. Well, the Beat Saber Lady Gaga pack announcement was very out of the blue.
I know, yeah. They've been
a game that I sometimes play.
they've been doing a lot of stuff. It was yeah, I mean Beat Saber is fun. We did a thing a couple years ago with them announcing the Green Day pack, and yeah, the Gaga
Oh yeah,
pack
I
was
remember.
cool.
I remember that. That was cool.
Yep. So it was kind of fun to sort of see, that come out, and yeah, VR is in an interesting place. I mean, Beat Saber's doing good stuff, and I saw recently they're like I think Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is going to be having
Yeah,
having a
yeah, VR
version and
port.
stuff like
That's
that.
a really cool thing.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. So, anyways, they're very fun. So that's great. Well, thanks for all the insight. I really appreciate it. That's so cool. You're in
Can
Iceland.
I
So
can
1:30
I
a.m. It's starting.
mention? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can I mention one more thing?
Of course, yeah.
It was just about Senua's Sacrifice. It was really weird because like that game is supposed to like take place in Iceland, which was very
Yes,
exciting too.
exactly.
So it's just like like suddenly hearing like some character speak Icelandic, which is like what like it never happens. It's like it's kind of annoying in a lot of games where they try to have like people speaking Icelandic. It sounds really weird. One example, like I have nothing against Apex Legends. I think it's a really cool game, but Bloodhound, they are supposed to be Icelandic, but their Icelandic doesn't sound very Icelandic. But like hearing the Icelandic in Senua Sacrifice was really nice. It like sounded natural.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I know they spent a lot of time in Iceland and researching and working with locals and the language and everything. And yeah, that was a really beautiful reveal. So I'm so glad to hear that you like that, and I'm glad. Yeah, we'll see more of that game hopefully soon. I mean, I was pretty blown away by the fidelity of that.
Yeah, um, yeah. Overall, I liked what I saw. But like I think like I listened to the whole conversation with RGT. It was really really nice. I want to just reiterate his point with I just wish there was a little bit more focus on some awards or
Uh huh.
like I don't know. It doesn't sit with me well when it's just like award for audio design and it's just like there's the award for audio design and now it's over. Now let's get to something else. And it's just like
Yeah, no, I mean it's a fair comment, and we always we're always going to hear that I think with the show, and
yeah, yeah.
most big award shows, unfortunately, they have to sort of just, the way things are set up. Again, we could add more awards and they would add more time. We could take away some of the game announcements. People say like take away the ads. It's like, I mean, at the end of the day, we have a very expensive show we have to make and we have to pay for it in some way. So I get the point that like take away the ads. I think we're now getting to work with some pretty cool partners like Spotify and Google and others that sort of I think let us do cool things around the show. But yeah, it's like, I mean, we need advertisements. We need the news of the show, which drives a
Yeah, yeah,
lot of
of course, of
viewership.
course.
So yeah, it's never going to be perfect, and I think we're trying to figure out do we do fewer categories? Like how do we figure out the right way to represent all of it? But yeah, it's look, we struggle with these things as one of these sort of eternal questions about how many awards do you present and how do you present them. And we still do, I think, almost half of the awards we present with speeches, it's just the other half we don't. And yeah, it's I totally I get the feedback, and it's just trying to figure out like how to balance that. And we're never going to get it fully right in everyone's eye. And I also think people have different views. I mean, some people are like, I only want to see the announcements, I don't even care about the awards, or other people are very purist of like, you should just have all awards and no announcements in the show. But I don't think that would drive the same viewership. So yeah, we're mindful of all the feedback, and keep
Yeah,
tweaking. But what would you do differently? So you'd have a few more awards presented and a few less kind of games.
no, I don't know. I think there's a lot of awards, which is
Mm-hmm.
good, but I feel like I just wish they were all presented equally. But as you described, it's a very unrealistic thing to have. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean it's difficult, and
yeah, it is very difficult, which
we
I totally
struggle with
understand.
this, and we want to figure out a way to make it work. So again, thank you for the great feedback.
Yeah, but I love the Imagine Dragons thing with Supergiant. That was really creative, and yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's it was kind of crazy that came together. I came up with that idea a few weeks ago, and I was like, let's do something around. I mean, probably actually a couple months ago. And I picked those two songs, and I was like, could we Imagine Dragons want to do something? And then I hit up Darren. And I was like, could these songs fit together? And yeah, it was a really fun collaborative thing. So yeah, thank you for that. I was proud that we sort of creatively were able to come up with that, and the band was really receptive to collaborating on that. So yeah, awesome. Well, it sounds like you had a Had a good time.
Yeah, overall, good time.
Thanks, man. Well, thanks for calling in.
Well, thank you for letting me speak. This is very unprecedented, but yeah, thank you.
All right, have a good night in Iceland.
Yeah,
Bring some
evening.
more people. Evening, exactly. All right, let's bring someone else up here. And again, you guys can speak the truth. Love to hear whatever you guys think. All right, hold on. I'm going back to space. Go pick somebody. Let's go to Pleo. Hello, Pleo.
Hello.
How you doing, Pleo?
Hey, yeah, it's Play, but yes, I'm here. I watched the Game Awards. Yes.
Where do you
I
live?
live in Texas, the DFW area around there.
Nice. Okay. Well, what was your take on the show
I thought it
overall?
was all fun. I thought it was kind of fun. I was kind of shocked who won Game of the Year.
What did you think was going to win?
I was thinking either maybe Resident Evil Village.
Uh-huh. That's
Yeah.
cool. All right. So, and what was your favorite reveal of the
I
show?
gotta say the Texas Chainsaw video game, because
Uh-huh.
I was shocked. I'm just really glad to see the people, because it wasn't made by the same people that made the Friday the 13th video game.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm
Gun.
just really glad
Yep.
they got work, considering currently the franchise for Friday the 13th is in current limbo right now. But I think
Yeah.
recently the court was adjourned or something.
Oh wow, you know more than I do about all
Yeah.
of that. All right, interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any feedback or questions? Or anything?
I was just wondering why about the content creators of the day. I was kind of shocked to see Dream was nominated, considering all the controversies around him.
Uh-huh.
Also, I was wondering why Scott the Woz wasn't nominated. He recently announced he was going to have
A TV show.
the
thing,
TV
right?
show thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I mean, look, the content creator stuff. I mean, there's so many amazing creators around the world. It's actually kind of almost impossible to figure out how you figure out five,
Yeah.
right? And that's one of those things that what I like this year is there were also a lot of international creators in there, which was cool.
it was fun.
Like sometimes, exactly. So it's it's kind of a crapshoot honestly about how that stuff works, and obviously people are very opinionated because of your favorite creators. So yeah, I mean Scott the Woz is a great one. I've heard a bunch of people mention others. Dream, won, so we actually got more votes, right? So it's like one of those ones that has a big fan base, and people were excited to kind of vote for him. And look, some of those. The thing with the show overall is like we never wanted to just be a popularity contest. And that was even sort of like with the Players Voice Award. It's like that's a purely fan voted award, and we think a little bit about who has obviously fan bases that are going to engage with this, and that's part of the reason they're popular. But the content creator thing, is kind of a calculation of who has a great fan base, but also who's doing good things for the community and positive things, as you said. I mean, there's some controversy around Dream and some of the speed runs and all those types of things, but it's look. Whenever you're nominating any person, there's always the risk of sort of like, what if that person ends up having a scandal or not, or something, or has had one, and it's like we ultimately leave it to kind of the fans and the jury to sort of decide what's worthy of being nominated. So he got nominated and won, and the content creator category every year I think has some degree of controversy about it, about who's nominated or not. Thanks. Good to hang out. Appreciate the comments. Let's go.
I'm sorry. So go ahead.
No, I was just going to bring someone else up to the stage, but do you have anything else to say?
One more thing. I really hope that the Chainsaw game, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game, I really hope they also bring in some fan favorites like Chop Top.
Okay. Good question. Yeah, I don't know. That was obviously kind of a first tease of the game, but I think that those guys are very passionate about that franchise.
Yeah,
it was a nice tease. So all right, well that's your sounds like that's your most anticipated.
Yeah, when I heard that sound effect with the bulb, I was like, oh, it's Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's cool. So you're a core fan, it feels like.
Yeah, a bit of a horror nut. Yep.
Okay, well, cool. I'm glad we could have that in there for you. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, thank you, Geoff. Thanks for having me.
All right, awesome. Great to have you up here. Let's bring up somebody else from the crowd. Going to hang out for maybe about 10, 15 more minutes and take in some questions about all things Game Awards, which I'm happy to do. You guys have had some great feedback and thoughts. And again, that's what we're trying to do today, is collect a lot of the feedback from everybody to see what we did right, what we did wrong, what we need to kind of tweak around for future years of the show. So I really do value all the feedback from you guys about the show. All right, let's bring up King Alien, because why not? King Alien, what's up, King Alien?
Good.
Yeah,
I'm
where are you calling him from?
I'm calling in from Georgia, and the game war started at like 7:30 p.m. for me,
Yeah,
Eastern time.
yeah, nice. Did you watch the whole show?
Yeah, I watched the whole show, and my favorite reveal was the Sonic movie and the Sonic Frontiers, because the Sonic Frontiers was like, I was like, wow, it's a Breath of the Wild Sonic game, because
Yeah,
I'm a big Sonic fan, especially a Nintendo fan and Sega fan.
nice. Yeah, I mean, Sonic looks really cool, and sounds like it's coming to all platforms and coming next year. So it was kind of a first tease, and I wish I wish we would have got a little more gameplay of it, but we got a look at the world, as you said, and the official name and everything. So I'm sure that'll be a big one
Yeah,
next year. Great. I'm glad to hear that you had fun seeing that.
yeah. I didn't last year. I didn't get to watch the whole Game Awards, but I did see the Smash reveal of Sephiroth because I
Yeah, that was pretty
Sephiroth
crazy,
was
right?
pretty much my wanted villain and stuff, and so because like
Yeah.
we got Cloud in the game, so
Yeah, that was a cool reveal with that. I mean, kicking off the show, and that was fun in the middle of the pandemic to have that reveal, and we got to surprise people. And that's one thing that we really try and make sure is there are no leaks around the show, so people can truly be surprised as things get announced and everything. So
and
that's awesome. What did you have?
what I like something else I liked how Metroid Dread won the best action adventure game because I have Metroid
Huh?
Dread, and it's a really cool game because I'm especially a Metroid fan. Still waiting patiently for Metroid Prime 4 and stuff.
I know we all are, right? It's like I know that kind of sounds like Switch developer has been going through development changes, but yeah, they've been a long time since they've teased that. I think it might have been like 2017 or something when they teased that at E3, and then we did Bayonetta, I think, that year at Game Awards. So
Yeah,
yes, I'm with you. I'd love to hear more about that one day soon.
yeah. And at the other Game Awards in like 2017, Bayonetta 3. And I'm really glad that they announced that like in September of this year. And Bayonetta 3, the trailer on September Nintendo Direct, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of PG, and I've been waiting for many years on that Bayonetta game. So yeah, it was awesome to see it, and I think all of us were wondering why was it taking so long to show it, and then you see it like, this looks amazing. So
Yeah,
that's great.
I have Bayonetta 1 and 2. I finished
Nice.
1 already. I gotta finish 2.
Do you have it for Switch?
Yeah, I have it for Switch.
Nice.
I have a lot of Switch games that I play. I especially love platformers like Mario, Crash, Banjo, Kirby, and all that sort of stuff.
Wow. Okay. Cool. So you excited for the new Kirby game next year too?
Yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land and stuff.
Yep. Coming next year.
And the
Yeah. No. I
new,
think Nintendo's
yeah,
gonna have a good year next year.
yeah.
You saw the ad they had in the show, which kind of talked about like sequel to Breath of the Wild, which they reconfirmed for next year, which was cool. And then Splatoon and Bayonetta. Um, cool. All right. Well, thanks for calling in.
All right.
Good to hang. All right. I'm gonna bring maybe a couple more people up here so we can chat. I'm gonna bring Elisa up to the stage. Hello, Elisa.
Hello?
What's happening, Elisa?
Nothing much. Just got off work, so.
Where are you calling in from?
DC. Washington, DC. Yeah.
Washington, D.C. All right, cool. Did you get a chance to watch Game Awards last night?
I did. From the pre-show all the way to the end.
You made it. Oh, you get a special achievement for watching the whole
Yeah,
thing.
right?
So, what did you think of the show overall? Give us your honest take.
I feel like, for the most part, I feel like the beginning and the end were pretty good, and the middle is where I personally was kind of like feeling it drag a little bit. Again, it might be just because like my taste in games is different from other people's. So I feel like
No, I think
pacing thing can be up for debate a little bit.
Yeah, it's a great point. I think we obviously try and have a strong open and close to the show, but also the middle section. And look, we had some cool stuff on like Genshin Impact, and that might not be everyone's cup of tea. And it's like we try and kind of blend in a lot of different styles and genres of games. But as you said, part of the challenge then is like how do you retain the audience, and there's certain people that like certain games and don't others. So yeah, it's a constant battle for us to figure out kind of the right way to get it right. And I don't think we ever do get it right. I think we just sort of try different things, and every year it's also based on what content we have and
Right.
what's possible, and it's yeah, these are the things that we constantly worry about. So it's a good point overall. It's something we definitely think about.
Yeah, and I feel like it's hard because, especially last year and this year, maybe things have changed a little bit. Because I feel like co-op games have really grown a lot versus like single player games. And when they launch the new console, there's not that many new.
No, the thing is,
games,
it's
which is kind of difficult. So for someone like me who likes those like narrative driven games, it's kind of hard when there's nothing out there to even talk about. So
no, that's why. I mean, look, I'm like you, and that's why I was excited about Hellblade.
exactly.
And, I think Horizon's going to be really cool, and yeah, there's like a lot of good stuff coming. But this was a lighter year for certainly. You said those sort of bigger story games, and that's part of the thing. Is like It Takes Two won this year, which was awesome, and that's obviously a great story. But you have to play that multiplayer gaming co-op.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about 2022, and if anything, we kind of veered probably a little bit heavier into world premieres this year, kind of casting forward to what's coming in 2022 and 2023, just because you said it's been a good year, but it's isn't as big as some of the other years.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the good feedback.
Yeah, I did have a question though.
Of course.
So for things like Gamescom and the Game Awards, how do you kind of recruit volunteers, like people to help out for that? Do you guys just have like temp staff, contractors? I was just curious though.
Yeah, it sort of depends on the show. I mean, something like Game Awards, we end up having hundreds of people sort of working on it in different capacities. So we have a core team that sort of builds the show, and then we have PAs, as we call them, production assistants, and other folks around the show. So I don't know that there's a formal process of sort of like people applying for those positions. It usually tends to be people in LA or people that are, somehow linked and knows someone. But yeah, we are, as the show grows, we're trying to figure out a little bit better on how to give people opportunities to sort of be a part of it, and even think about like who can help us on social media and other things around the show. So we don't really have like a Game Awards job board or opportunities listed that way, but we are thinking about that. And are you looking to get into the gaming industry?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm pretty early on in my career in general, but I mean, it's always been a hobby, so
yeah,
I feel like it'd be fun if anything. So yeah.
That's cool. And what aspect of the industry are you interested in the most?
Originally, I studied classical music theory and stuff, so I was definitely more in like the music side. But there's just a lot that goes into it, and right now would be kind of a huge pivot in terms of my career. So I was just looking at even short-term stuff.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, stay tuned to our socials, and I think we're going to figure out over the next 6 months what's possible. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunity, I think, out there for people in the gaming industry, and the industry keeps growing, and there's a lot more that you could potentially do. So I would encourage you to. We need more people in games, so we'd love to find a way for you to do something related to games.
Yeah, it's the dream.
All right, well, keep the dream alive, and hopefully we'll see you on stage one year at the Game Awards, or helping out in some way, right?
Yep, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks for the call. All right, we're going to do maybe a couple more, and then I'm going to bounce. But let's see. Go to Naughty or Nixie. Or Nixie. Hello, Nixie. Nixie, you there?
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
How we doing?
Good.
Yeah, what did you think of Game Awards? You get a chance to watch it?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing.
Oh wow! Okay, you survived. So what was the highlight and the low light for you?
For me, the highlight was probably Sonic, both the trailer and the game.
Cool. Okay, great. It's good to hear.
Um,
And what was the low light? Was there anything that disappointed you, or you were disappointed in the game, or what it was? Or...
well, if I had to be honest, probably the second half of the show was a little bit
Okay.
dragging a little.
Yep. Yeah, it's totally fair. I mean, there's lots of games to get through, and yes, I agree. We've got that middle section is always a challenge of sort of like how do you the right amount of games and the right amount of content and how do you fit it all together. So I think that's totally valid and fair feedback.
And there were some games that didn't get nominated that, in my opinion, probably should have.
Wait, yeah, which ones were those?
Neo, The World Ends With You is probably a big one.
Yes.
A lot of people were wanting.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep. Yeah.
I also just wish that like more Nintendo games won awards too, since the family game category was filled with them.
I know. I saw that on Twitter. Someone was like, Nintendo even lost their own category because it's like It Takes Two won the Family Game Award, right?
Yeah, it definitely deserved it though. That game is pretty good.
Exactly. I agree. No, I mean, I was very happy that won a bunch of awards. I think it won 3 awards or something, which was cool.
Yeah.
That and Forza for the most. Maybe Deathloop won too. I can't remember. I need to look at a tally. But all right, cool. Well, do you have any suggestions or ideas for what we should do with Game Awards 2022?
Well, I heard a few people mention this earlier, but probably less of like the Hollywood side of things and more like game industry
Yep.
representation.
Yeah. Yep. And that's definitely something we're always trying to kind of balance out and find the right sort of fit of things. So yeah, I think the industry is very powerful on its own. That's why I was excited to have like Donald and Neil present our final 2 awards and make that really cool. And someone like Giancarlo Esposito, like part of the gaming world in a fun way. In Far Cry 6,
Yeah.
so I thought that would seem like that is okay because he's in the game.
Yeah. People like Giancarlo Esposito and Keanu Reeves are probably fine because they're very active in the gaming community with like Cyberpunk and Far Cry.
Yep. Exactly.
But
no, I think that's a good point. And find people that sort of like you really have to be in a game to be part of the show and not just a fan. And
yeah,
yep, that's definitely something we're conscious of and wanting to figure out like Guillermo del Toro again, like
yeah,
Death Stranding. We always try and thing is you guys wouldn't believe. I mean, we have even Academy Award winning actors that want to come do the show, and it's like, well, you need to kind of have some link to the gaming world for it to make sense, or it just plays as sort of odd and weird. So yeah, I think that's really really valid, good feedback, and again, it's something we constantly like debate and talk about amongst the team of how best to structure that.
and the another thing that felt kind of weird was just like the separation between like the ads and like the awards and stuff. Because you guys would be announcing awards and then all of a sudden it would just kind of cut to ads and it would be kind of jarring. It wouldn't really make sense. It wouldn't really process that it was an ad or something. And there was like a small break from the reveals.
Do you think we should figure out how to say more to sort of transition in between them? Is what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair feedback. Yeah, I mean, part of the thing I think that happened last night, if I'm being honest, is also we were running so heavy with so much content, we kind of started to cut some of that stuff just because we were like, oh, we got to figure out can we get it under 3 hours and stuff. So that's sort of our fault, and I agree we could probably do in the future years kind of do a better job blending all that together. So yep, another good fair feedback that I won't fight you on.
Yeah, but it was good. I liked
Awesome.
I
Well,
like what you
thanks.
said about the harassment in the game industry. That was good. Thank you for that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean it's an important topic. So hopefully that'll do some good. I mean, it's it's just words. I think the thing is, it's all about everyone's actions, and we're thinking a lot about on our show side, what's the right way to sort of approach this stuff and think about this stuff in the future. So we're trying to navigate it like everyone, and I think I feel for all the employees that day in and day out are kind of working at these companies and trying to figure it out themselves, right? So it's like for me, the struggles we have to figure out about what to say is nothing compared to the struggles of people that are inside of bad situations now and trying to figure out how to get out and everything. So yeah, I really appreciate the sentiment and thanks
Yeah,
for
thank
watching.
you.
All right. Good stuff. Well, we got hundreds of people with requests here, and I do have to go in a minute, but let me see if we can add a few other people in and see where we can go. Let's Sheets, you there? Oh, she's a sorry. I think. Maybe not.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
What's
Hey,
up? How we doing, man?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm a little tired, to be honest, but
I bet.
I'm doing well. Just reading all the feedback, seeing what people think.
How late was that after party?
Takes, Yeah, unfortunately, I wish I got to go to an after party. We were pretty busy, kind of dealing with the team stuff behind the scenes with our show, and that's always the tough thing for us. Is like we want everyone in the industry's in town. I haven't seen people, but then we're also trying to get our team kind of the show wrapped up and make sure everything on our team is feeling good. So I spent some time with them and didn't do anything too crazy. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the show?
I liked it. Another good year. I will say my favorite thing about the show is just that there was no hiccups in my mind. Felt like the pacing really went well. Everything was carried without any awkwardness that you might see in years past. I don't mean to dredge up old scars for you, but Joel McHale comes to mind. It's a far cry from that. You've definitely grown a lot over the years.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean Joel's a friend, and that was an unfortunate situation that year with the sort of VGX thing, which I think it was 2013, and yeah, look. I love that people have opinions, and that's why there's no scientific formula that works for a show like this. It's like these are the debates that I have in my head and with our team all the time. So all the things you guys are saying, it's like, yeah, we're very conscious of this stuff. We're not blind to it, and not thinking about it. Just there's so many factors at play. So yeah, this feedback is all really instructive to us, which we really appreciate.
Yeah, I think we all appreciate it too. It's great that you come out here and you take time to listen to us about what we think and feel about the show. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, as far as feedback goes, because I know you're short on time, I'll just rattle it off to you.
Oh, I love to hear it.
I was just gonna say, I think balancing the game trailers with the awards itself was probably the biggest pain point for this year. I felt.
Yep.
I think you're just getting to a point where you just need to do your own game show at this point, Geoff. You have a lot of trailers coming in now. You should do a December E3 or something. But
well, look, that's part of what I think has happened too. Is we've done Summer Game Fest and Gamescom, which are all focused on kind of reveals. So I think now it's as you said, we're getting a lot of people saying "Oh, his next thing is the December Game Awards thing."
Yeah.
So let's sort of it's like Summer Game Fest, which doesn't have awards. So now we put awards in this, and yeah, obviously we still spend a fair amount of time in the show with all the we do I think 10 or 11 awards. But I totally agree with you that sort of the reveals and the announcements sort of start to overtake some of the show, and it's from a viewer perspective, I think it's needed to have some of those reveals, but I always agree that we probably could do fewer bigger games. But when I say that, it always becomes a challenge because you think that, and then you go out and it's like, well, what happens when a big game drops or isn't involved? We had a big game even this year that dropped a couple of weeks before the show, and it's like, okay, well, that leaves a hole. So, yep, it's good feedback.
Yeah, and I guess the one other thing I would probably mention is I do understand that there needs to be a flash fire kind of thing for some awards. I've been listening to a lot of the stuff that you've been saying earlier in this discussion.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is that if you want a little bit of feedback on what I think is worthwhile to get some on-stage presence, I think major genre categories like fighting games definitely deserves.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the one thing where I'm oh, well, fighting games has such a relevant, presence in the gaming industry with, tournaments and everything else. So seeing that represented on stage next year might be what I consider be a worthwhile venture for future shows.
No, and fighting games is one of those genres where I feel like it's, they're kind of, at least for the award sake, I think they're sort of, on years where there's big new releases, right? And what the new one is, and how do you really have 5 nominees? I think fighting is one where we struggle a little bit. Generally, I think how many nominees will there be, right? Because usually there are 3 or 4 good games that have come out in the year. But they're enough to have 5 for fighting, and I think this year we did. But Virtua Fighter was in there, the remake, and things like that. But yeah, we do try to switch which categories we present, and we did, for I think the first time in a long time, we did best action adventure game, the best action game in the show this year, which we don't normally always do. And sometimes we do the esports categories in the main show, which we didn't do this year. It's really hard to get everyone to kind of attend on the esports side, just given all the international travel restrictions. We didn't do content creator of the year as a fully presented award with the speech, which sometimes we do. So we
That
did
was
focus
something I
more on
agree
12
with. I
awards.
think that's I think it should focus on game development anyway. Even as a content creator, I'm like, yeah, that was fair. I understand that. I will say, I guess if it does fall into a Flashfire category, maybe separating YouTube and streamer might be a good thing for next year.
Uh-huh.
And
yeah, I mean, that's another one that someone asked earlier about, like, the content creators. Like, there's so many people creating content, and it's a global category as well. It's like, how do you really whittle that down? And we've talked about, do we do a bracket system? Do we do a write-in, or sort of like, what's the way to do that? And I do think players are an important part of the story overall in the industry, but I agree that at the end of the day, like, the show is meant to serve and honor developers, which is kind of the first and foremost kind of idea for us. So yeah,
great segue for my last piece of feedback for you.
Yeah.
I think for future shows, you should do a lifetime achievement award.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have done something called Industry Icon in the past. It's been a few years since we've done that. I think last time we might have done was 2017 or 18.
Okay.
Actually, no, that's not right. I think we actually did in 19. We did one. But we're thinking about sort of how to bring that back and how to do something really cool with it. So I think next year will be the year we'll kind of bring that back. But yeah, I agree. The Lifetime Achievement Award is definitely something that is top of mind for us.
Awesome. Well, hey Geoff, thank you so much for letting me have a chance to speak. Congratulations yet again on a great show. Thank you.
Yes. Great times. Great to chat with everyone. I unfortunately got to bounce now because I got some other stuff to get to today. Tabulating all the results and numbers from Game Awards so we can tell you guys how it did. But this has been tons of fun. I'll maybe try and stop back over the weekend again and do another one and talk a little bit more about the show. And I love this feedback, and we could go on for hours and hours. But thanks for joining us for the Game Awards post-show discussion on Twitter Spaces. And I really appreciate all you guys watching and the care you have for the show, and your feedback means a lot to us. So thanks again, and we'll chat soon. Bye.